Yo, what's going on, guys? So if you remember from probably about a month ago, I uploaded a match, or it's been well over a month, but you remember I uploaded a match in a new league that I joined called the UAL, and then from that point I have not uploaded one since. That's because I'm lazy and I kind of forgot about uploading these things. So I'm going to do a bulk upload. This is going to be from weeks 4 all the way up till week 9. So it's going to be 4 games because one of my opponents, Rob, Pokey Rob, you guys know him, he forfeited because he's a lazy piece of shit, and yeah, Rob's bad. But filler words to bridge the gap between ideas and my thoughts. This first one is going to be against iPro and his Manectric United. This is my week 4 match, and I brought a pretty fun team for this one. It's Endure, Weakness, Policy, and Mega with Reversal, because you know it has a Heatran and stuff, and that sounded fun. I think Charty Berry Zapdos was there for mainly the Scolipede, because you know it's a big old threat, and then I've got Culverberry Golurk because big threat to his team and it does a lot of damage, guts up rocks, and its coverage just hits everything really hard. Then I've got Tangaberry, Nasty Plot 3 attacks Mew, and Nasty Plot Mew just destroys his team outright. He has nothing that can one-shot it directly, and he has nothing that really wants to take these hits. Then I have a Shukaberry Entei with Will-O-Wisp and stuff as a check to Altaria, and then I have a Ganlon Berry, which is Natural Gift Ice Shiftry, which was meant to lure out the Altaria so that stuff like my Yanmega could have a better time sweeping him. So let's just kind of get into it here. I'm going to lead off with my Golurk, and I just knew that once he led off with this, no matter what, I was just going to click Dynamic Punch. Even if he did end up being the Piloswine, that was fine because it still got damage off, but going for the Dynamic Punch was my best play in case he did lead off with the Zoroark, which he did, so I'm going to get rid of that thing turn 1, which is nice. And now he's going to go into his Altaria, and that's kind of scary. He's going to go for the Hyper Voice. I'm max HP, and that does less than half, so that means he is a defensive set also that shows because I heavy slammed at 65%. I'm gonna slow this down a little bit. So yeah, I get up rocks. 65% shows that he was pretty physically defensive, and now he's going to start firing off Cotton Guards and Roost and stuff. So Cotton Guard is scary. It's a set that has a pretty good chance at beating me. However, I do have Entei, which can potentially check it since I can Will-O-Wisp it and I can pressure stall it and I can Iron Head it and stuff. I really wasn't sure what I was gonna do at this point, but I miss my Will-O-Wisp here, which is kind of annoying. As he goes for the Roost, doesn't matter too much because I'm just going to go for it again. And if he does not have the Heal Bell, then I'm just going to try and stall this thing out and flinch it down with Iron Head plus Will-O-Wisp. He's going to go for the Hyper Voice. It's doing more than I'd like. If it was not a 4-hit KO, that would have been nice, but it is, so oh well. Now I'm just going to start firing off Iron Heads, and this is a pretty boring part of the match as he is going to reveal Heal Bell. So I'm just going to basically just spam Iron Head and Will-O-Wisp until I die, and I just want to get this thing to the point where it's weakened. And at this point I noticed that since he was bulky, he can't really do a whole lot of damage to Mew, and that means I can just set up a Nasty Plot in its face. So my goal is to get him to a point where he's going to be forced to Roost up, so my Mew is not going to be able to take damage. I set up the Nasty Plot, be at full health, knock this thing out with an Ice Beam, and then I go and do some diddling to his team. So if we're getting near the end, I think Entei's going to die soon. He's going to Roost, and it's like this turn or a few turns after that he's actually going to finally click the move and kill me. Oh no, he's going to go for that last Cotton Guard, and now he's going to Roost a few times and then knock me out. So yeah, really boring turn of events that's not even worth narrating over. I think I got a few flinches here and there, but it's not a huge deal. I would have had to get a significant amount of them in a row, and Iron Head is actually doing 10. It is doing 10 damage, so he's going to Heal Bell up, and I'm just going to fire off the Will-O-Wisp, and I think at this point, okay, one day we're going to get it right. So I'm pretty darn sure that now he's going to finally opt to knock me out with the Hyper Voice. Yes, so this thing is at a point where he's probably going to want to heal up against my Mew or something. He didn't know my set, so he's going to go for the Roost, which was kind of a choke because now Scolipede's Mega Horn cannot knock me out through the Tangaberry, and I'm just going to be able to one-shot this thing with an Ice Beam. So Mew is going to do some diddling to his team because my set does a lot of damage. He's going to go into a Scolipede, and I'm fine with taking 70% off of my Mew so I can knock out this big-ass threat to my team. And now that Scolipede's dead, he doesn't really have anything that can break me, and the rest of my team should just be able to win from this point. He does go into his Heatran. I do have the Aura Sphere for combined coverage on this and the Piloswine and the Zoro. I'm going to get crit. Probably mattered. He's dead, and now he's gonna go into his thingy, and it's gonna take 80%, and then he's gonna knock me out with the Shadow Ball. But at this point, the game should just be over because a Cofagrigus at 15% and a Piloswine should not be able to defeat my team. So I'm going to go into Shiftry, my Weedy Burb, and just knock it out with a knock off. And all I have to do is get rid of Piloswine's Eviolite, and then I can just whittle away at it because it's not that bulky without it. So I go for the knock. It does a clean 24%. Unfortunate that I never got to go for the natural gift. He's going to pop my Ganlan Berry, giving me the defense boost, which doesn't matter. He doesn't have Ice Shard, I guess, and I'm going to be able to knock him out with the combination of Leaf Blade plus an Earthquake from my Golurk. So that's going to be the first game of this thing. We're going to be able to take it 3-0 and get our first win after kind of an annoying loss in week 3, which is our first week. So I'll pause and get to the next one. Okay, so our next opponent in week 5 is going to be Van Keith, coach of the Fighting Quillfish. So that's cool. I think it's a pun on the Fighting Irish, which is Notre Dame, because America doesn't know how to pronounce Notre Dame, so it's whatever. Anyways, Van Keith has a really scary team because he has a Landorus Incarnate, and he also has a Mega Houndoom, which my team does not have very many responses for, which is cool. He's got Druddigon, Whimsicott, Mega Houndoom, Lando Eye, Skarmory, and the Tentacruel. Some of the other stuff that he has that I remember was Blissey. He had the Bliss Skarmory, which is a really cool idea. Gets taken advantage of by Volt Switch. His team in general is extremely weak to Bolt Beam, so like half my team is running Bolt Beam coverage. I have Mega Heracross, it's just max HP, max attack, because I find that I really don't need to run a fast hair most weeks, just enough so that I'm not being sped crept by Skarmory, and he has nothing for a Mega Heracross, as do most teams, because it's an absolute beast and people don't respect it. Then I have an AB Entei because I really don't want to get swept by Houndoom, and this is a decent check to it. Bulldoze is a cool move, checks Skarmory, checks Whimsicott, lets me Bulldoze a Tentacruel if he decides to not be running Clear Body, which would make sense because well, I don't even know. Do I have any grass types on this team? I have Shiftry as my grass type, so he could definitely not be running Liquid Ooze for all I know. Then I've got Defog Mew with Bolt Beam because it's a nice check to stuff. It should be able to deal with a special Lando decently well. Knockoff hurts, EQ hurts, U-turn hurts though. Then I've got a like super duper specially defensive Lantern because, you know, he's got a Houndoom and that's scary. And this should be able to take some hits from it. Then I've got an offensive Zapdos because it just runs over his team. Heat Wave, HP Ice Bolt switch. I don't want to run T-Bolt because I love my momentum off this thing, and Zapdos forces a lot of switch-ins and stuff. And then I have a Golurk, which is just like Colbur Berry and max HP and Stealth Rock 3 attack stuff. So game plan is get in Heracross a whole ton, get a lot of momentum with Zapdos, keep rocks off my field because I need rocks away so that Entei can properly check stuff, and try not lose to Mega Houndoom because I have very little for it, as you'll see in this game. So he's going to lead off with his thingy, as I'm going to lead off with my guy. Zapdos has a great lead matchup against pretty much everything on his team. He's going to go for the sub as I go for the Heat Wave right here, and I'm just going to go for the Volt Switch because, you know, the same play would have been to like go into Druddigon, but no, excuse me for going for the Volt Switch as he subs up, so that's annoying. However, I do have a Mega Heracross, and a Leftovers Whimsicott cannot knock me out unless he has like Hurricane, but I don't think he's gonna have Hurricane. So I'm just gonna go for the safe Pin Missile. I did consider going for like Close Combat because if he's not a Vizdef Skarm, then I just outright 2-hit KO it, which is amazing. I couldn't really gauge what damage, how much or what spread the Skarm was often. It was kind of hard figuring out the spread in this game, but I do have a hard counter to Zapdos, or to Skarmory in my Zapdos, because, you know, it can't touch me, and I get a free Volt Switch every single time forever, and there's no reason that he would ever go into Landorus on this, knowing that I have HP Ice, and I can't take any hit because I am Charty Berry. So I'm going to go to my Mew here, and I'm just going to click Ice Beam, because I think that he's probably going to... I don't want him getting up a free sub, basically, as he does go for the taunt. I'm going to go for the Ice Beam. It shows he's pretty specially bulky to take that Ice Beam, I think. And now I'm going to go for the Thunderbolt here so I can punish the Skarmory switch in because I'm a good player and I make predictions and stuff. And based off that damage, he's pretty specially defensive. I think it turned out at the end that he was like max Spadef, and now he's going to just go back out into his Whim and die. So that's cool. He doesn't have a sack fodder anymore. However, he does get a free switch into oh no, he's going to go into his Lando now. I mean, he gets a free switch into his Houndoom as he goes for the U-turn, and that is a max attack Lando, which is surprising, but it does make some sense as I do go for the Ice Beam. So that was a nice bait so that he could get a pretty easy switch into Houndoom and also get a lot of damage off on Mimikyu. So I'm going to go into my Lantern and hope like heck that he's not Nasty Plot so that he can't 2-hit KO me, but he's Nasty Plot, so what should I expect? This thing can definitely 2-hit KO me, even though I'm max Spadef, so all I'm hoping here is that I don't get flinched. Fortunately, I don't. I get off some measly damage with Scald. I mean, 56 isn't that measly, and he's going to be able to knock me out the second one, so now I'm just going to go into my one thing that can take a hit, because I don't have anything that outspeeds it on this team, which is my Entei, and I didn't notice at this time. I forgot that Extreme Speed was a button on my Entei, and I can't explain why, but I just did not see Extreme Speed at this point. So I didn't click it, which worked out because that means I'm not taking Rocky Helmet and stuff damage from this. And at this point, I decide that I want to get my rocks up, I guess. This was a little interesting. Basically, my plan was to get up my Stealth Rocks and pretty much just try and prevent his Houndoom from doing much against me at this point. I'm going to go for the Dynamic Punch though, kind of a questionable play, but I get the confusion so it works, and he does reveal that he's Rocky Helmet. So now I get up my rocks as he's going to go for the Glare, and now we're going to make a big boy play because he hasn't seen Earthquake, and for some reason he thought that switching into Tentacool was a good idea, and I proved to him that it was not. So that's how proofs work, kid, even though they're still not fun to do. He's going to go as Lando now. I don't want to switch anything into Landorus because while my Zapdos can take a hit, I don't want to switch it in because it can't take 2 Rock Slides. And also, something worth mentioning, since I'm max HP Heracross and this is a max attack Lando, even if he is like naive Psychic, without any special attack investment, he can't kill me. And he has to kind of be max speed, so meaning that because of the roll on Muse showing that he was max attack, and assuming these max speed so he can outrun a max speed Zapdos and Mew, that means that he won't be able to invest any special attack investment, and I just hit my remote, which was sitting on top of a bunch of stuff. Basically, if he has Psychic, he can't kill me here, so I'm just going to go ahead and click Rock Blast, and he's just going to go for the U-turn. It does 18 on a crit, and he's going to take a little more damage, which is nice, even though I don't need that much damage. And I'm just going to click that nice Rock Blast and just kill his Druddigon, so that's cool. So if I go for the Defog at any point in this game, then I'm going to be able to get rid of hazards. However, I don't want to do that because I need my rocks up so that I can force out his thing. So he's going to go with Skarm. I don't know why, but it just dies. It just dies. I guess he wanted to like lower my he wanted me to lower my Spadef, and well, mainly defense, so he can knock me out with Lando. But then again, I am a max HP thing, and after he went for the U-turn, I figured he didn't have Psychic, so I'm just going to be able to knock this thing out with a close combat. And Heracross is doing what it does best and just kind of killing everything, which is fun. And all he has left is a Houndoom at 5%, so I can just win with a you know, the E-Speed button, because like, oh hey, I actually do have E-Speed. And I was kind of freaking out because I was thinking, oh god, if he flinches me 80,000 times, I'm going to lose to this Houndoom, but then, you know, I just clicked E-Speed and it was over. So another 3-0 victory. Funny how those work when you play well and stuff. Little funky in this one, but, you know, everything gets a little weird when you have to fight a Lando I and also a Houndoom that you don't have switch-ins to. So that was fun. Mega Hera got more kills, which is basically all I want out of this league, and we had more fun, so I'll get to the next one in a second. Okay, so now we're going to skip ahead from week 5 to week 7 because Rob was my week 6, and like I said, lazy piece of shit, and he forfeited. Well, I forced him to forfeit because he wouldn't play me and stuff. So we're going to play a guy named Wamar, and a fair bit of you guys might know him from the Salamence Gate and Rizzy Pal. But Wamar is a dude, and he's an interesting one at that. So I'm going to dedicate this game to Riz because, you know, if I can beat Riz, or if I can beat this guy, then I beat a guy that 6-0'd Riz in 7 turns, and that means that Rizzy is extra bad, so that's cool. He has a pretty scary team. He has Kieran Black, and Yeah. Then he also has like Dugtrio, Lando T. So I played 2 Lando teams in a recent vicinity. However, Lando I is much scarier against me. Mega Blastoise, pretty spooky. I do have my Lantern though, which is a decent check, though he does have that Dugtrio. Granbull's annoying because, it thinks it can switch into Heracross, but we'll have to teach it a lesson there. And then he has a Tauros, which, could be scary. However, I do have like Heracross, and Heracross is the answer to all my problems because it's fat and it doesn't die to any one hit, and it kills everything, which I love about this mod. Anyways, my team, I've got Toxic Orb, Quick Feet, Ursaring because, normal resist, yo. What are they? I can't outrun the Tauros, or the Dugtrio, but I outrun like Lando and this and the Kyurem and stuff, and it's cool. And I think I'm Sword Stance 3 attacks, yeah, because what's a Facade doing to his team? A lot. I have AV thing because Blastoise is something I like to switch into if I have the chance. Then I have Mega Hera, bulky set. I think I'm sub SD, like sub SD, Rock Blast, close. I don't know. I'm something like. Now I'm probably Pin Missile so I can hit the Dugtrio. Dugtrio could be annoying since it could Aerial Ace me, but if it's not banded, it's not killing because my baby is very bulky. Then I've got a Choice Specs Eruption Entei because his fire resist is Mega Blastoise, and Mega Blastoise is a laughable Entei switch-in if I'm choice banded with Sacred Fire or Choice Specs in this. And also if he's like defensive Lando, it just dies kind of. If he's defensive Granbull, it just dies. And it does an absolute buttload to Kyurem and stuff. And I've got a Mew, and Mew is just kind of fast and bulky and annoying. Gets up rocks because rocks are nice and forces him to spin, and as T-Wave because that's a good move, and I'm faster than the Kyurem so I can T-Wave it. And then I've got a Fizz-Def Zapdos, like max Fizz-Def, because it just shuts down all of his physical attackers because it's a Zapdos and stuff. So let's get into this. I'm sorry, I just kind of died there. Let's get into this one. I'm gonna lead off with my Mew because I just want rocks up so I can break stashes and that kind of thing. And Mystery Bird just doesn't really care. He's gonna go at, do I have rocks? Yes, I do. But I don't think I get him up in this game. Spoilers. I'm just gonna T-Wave it because it's a good move, and I wanted to scout the set, and I was like, oh wait, I'm not Spadef Mew, so that does an absolute ton. But I do have my, this thing which can kind of deal with it, and I'm just gonna be real and click Scald right away because he's going into his Dugtrio. And if I get the burn right here, then I escape being trapped, but that's not going to be the case, unfortunately. So he's going to be able to do a lot of damage and make it so that Lantern is no longer a switch into Blastoise, which is unfortunate, but Dougie did its job almost, except it couldn't kill my Lantern. So now he's going to go into this, and I don't really have a reason to leave Lantern around, especially when I can take advantage of whatever this Lando goes for. I'm going to go into Heracross, and basically, I don't think Lamar is the type of guy that's going to have like HP Flying Landorus. I just don't feel it. And if he does, then oh well, I'll go from there. Then I'll know he's not Scarfed, and that's kind of good because then Entei can outrun it. I didn't want to go directly into Entei in case he was just fucking crazy and decided to stay in and knock me off, just not fearing getting burnt or something. I don't know, but I just click Rock Blast right here as he's going to go out into his Granbull, so I'll be able to go get some damage off, scout it, and that kind of thing, except I'm going to miss a Rock Blast. So Heracross, you failed me for the first time and last time ever because Heracross is Bay, and I forgive you. But I do have a Zapdos, and Zapdos, just like switches in. He goes for the T-Wave, and now I'm just going to Volt Switch on out because, yeah. I'm going to go into my Ursaring right here because I want to just kind of kill this thing and put pressure on his team, as he does go for the Toxic right there. So I finessed around that thing, and had I got the Rock Blast damage off right here, this thing would have died to this Facade, and he does not have a switch into the thing, but unfortunately I'm going to be forced to take a Play Rough and then 3 rounds of Toxic damage, so I'm going to lose a lot of health off of my Ursaring, so that means I can't really take a hit from anything, which is too bad, but I still won a round because it can revenge kill any non-scarfed thing that's also not named Tauros. He's going to go into He's going to go into Tauros, and I'm going to go into Zapdos. He gets a crit Iron Head, and it does 18, so that shows he's probably not Life Orb. I don't know. He's going to go out straight into his Landorus, which is interesting, I guess. But I'm Tardy Berry. I can take a hit. He's going to go for the edge. He gets a crit, which is kind of annoying because now I'm weaker. And I'm just going to go for the HP Ice and fail to knock him out. I don't think that was a roll, and if it was, screw you. But I kind of think he's Choice Scarfed at this point, so I'm just going to go on my Heracross because I can eat up a Stone Edge and then kill him with another hit. He's going to get another crit, which is kind of annoying, but I'm going to kill him with a knockoff. So he was actually Lumberry. I missed that in the game. I did miss that, so I guess he was Swords Dance set? Cool. Yeah, I thought he was Choice Scarf up till this point, so I'm dumb. Not very attentive as always, but now my Heracross is just kind of weakened and stuff, and even though he wasn't choiced, he didn't have a flying move because who preps for Heracross anyways? It's not that big of a deal. He's gonna go into his thing, and I just want to get off a bunch of damage, and when you need something to take a bunch of damage, make Heracross as your best bet to go ahead and get that bunch of damage. So I'm going to do a nice 67 with the close combat as he's going to knock me out with Scald, and now that this thing's paralyzed, my game plan is Roost until he gets paired and hope I don't get burned in the process. So Scald's doing just about half, but Roost is doing half, giving me plus half, and he does get paired pretty quick. So like, I was gonna spam Roost until it happened. Like, there was no ifs, ands, or buts about it because I did not really want to get swept by Tauros, if you feel me, because my team's looking a little Tauros weak at this point. So I'm going to knock out his guy, and I believe I'm just going to go out into Entei right here because I want to just click, the Specs Eruption button because it's fun. He's going to go on his Kyurem, and I'm going to click the Eruption thing, and it does fucking 94% to this thing, which is amazing. He's going to go for the Earth Power and get a crit, which is annoying, so that means I can't possibly I can't really do much damage, and down goes his Kyurem, and all he has left is a Tauros, and he's actually going to go for the Rock Climb and miss, so I'm going to go for the Eruption. Like, it kind of balances out because, he crit me so that my Eruption wasn't doing very much, so, I mean, is that even justifiable? I don't think it is. My logic is horrible right now, sorry. But I do a crisp 22% off of like a base 20 Eruption or something like that because, Entei is kind of strong. He's going to miss another one, which is kind of funny. And I'm going to crit him there too, which is cool. However, he's going to hit the third one, and I'm just going to go on my Zapdos, and, Zapdos can just chew this hit, and he's going to go for a Rock Climb, and that's not Life Orb damage. And I'm just going to kill him with a Volt Switch. So, little hacks to get the end game, but really none of that hacks mattered at all because the Rock Climb did 37%, and he was Choice Scarfed into it. So I could literally, if I wanted to, spam Roost and stall him out and force him to go for Struggle, which would have been kind of hilarious because I am a somewhat sadistic person, and I would have found pleasure in that. So that's another one. We are going to take it yet again 3-0 for the third week in a row, which is pretty cool. And after being handed an 0-2 record, and then because the previous coach was a bag of dick ass and ass meat and stuff, and then after we lost to Ranger W, we're finally going to get to even win percentage. So we're 3-3 right now, I think. No, we're 4-3 because Rob forfeited. So we're actually in positive, and we're just going to look to climb from here. So let's get into the next one. Okay, so next up we are going to be taking on Pledge, or I'm Pledge, who's the former last season's champion of this league, which is cool, and he has a Darkrai because apparently as long as you don't have Dark Void on your Darkrai, it's not broken, but Omega Latios is broken because Calcs say so. Yeah, that's cool. At this point, we are 4-3, and this guy has not been doing too well this season, even though his team is actually really fucking good. I would take a Slowbro Togekiss core and then have a bunch of offensive shit like, the fucking Darkrai and then Infernape and Roserade. So he has a very, very threatening team, but, I'm a god and I can prep for anything and I can beat any team. So let's show you how I did it. But the team I'm bringing, offensive Zapdos, once again, has a pretty nice matchup against his team. I'm just bringing like leftovers, 3 attacks Roost with Volt Switch instead of T-Bolt because who needs T-Bolt? Joke's on me because I kind of needed it, but Volt Switch is great. He doesn't have a ground type on this team, though. He did have Rhyperior in the back. I might have had HP. I can't fucking remember. It was probably HP Grass or something like that to hit it. Then I have a Clefable. Clefable's Life Orb because he doesn't have great switch-ins to Life Orb Clef, and it's a fun set. And this is the first time I'm actually bringing it because I just didn't feel like it before because I wanted to bring memes. But yeah, Life Orb Clef has a nice matchup. It can take a hit from Darkrai. It can take a lot from a hit, but it can take one and then knock it out, which is cool. And he doesn't really appreciate Moonblast plus Fire Blast and Ice Beam and stuff. I think he had something that was like really weak to fire, but I can't remember. I have a Choice Scarf Cobalion because, you know, it's a check to the Darkrai and stuff. Also, it's a check to Sharpedo, and I think I have Volt Switch on this so I can get some momentum. And if I can get rid of like Slowbro, then and weaken the Infernape, then like an Iron Head Sweep could be imminent late or something like that. Or if I get rid of Togekiss and Slowbro and weaken the Rose, then Choice Scarf Close Combat can kind of clean. Then I've got a Expert Melt mixed Entei because I like killing Slowbros with Entei. It's a fun thing to do. It really is. And then Mew is like Colbur Berry Spadef with Rocks and T-Wave and stuff because those are fun moves to go for. And then we have ye old bulky Heracross that just kind of murders his whole team. I think no, there's no way I'm sub SD this week, unless I am, of course. I think I actually am just like Pin Missile Rock Blast because he doesn't have anything that resists that, because nobody has resistances to Heracross and might as well not prepare for it in any way, shape, or form. So he's going to lead off with this thing, his Ape, and I'm going to lead off with my Zapdos. Zapdos is like always a good lead, especially when your opponent doesn't have an electric immunity. He's going to miss a Volt Switch, which is unfortunate, or a Toxic, which is too bad for him, but that doesn't really matter later because I'm going to get... You'll see. He's getting his Rocks up as I'm going to go for the T-Wave, and spoiler, just kidding, I'm not Rocks, I am Defog, because I'm not bringing Rocks this week because I'm a Lord. So T-Wave Defog is a great way to prevent your opponent, or T-Wave Rocks or something like that is a great way of preventing your opponent from either getting rid of or keeping hazards on the field. In this case, it's going to prevent him from keeping rocks on the field because now that his thing is T-Waved and I defogged, I can Psychic and his Infernape is gone and wasted, and all that potential to do a lot of damage to my team is gone, so that's cool. He's going to go into this thing, and it's annoying, but I do have a Zapdos, and Zapdos, you know, switches in. He's going to make a nice play and Toxic a Toxictomon, which I respect, and that means that my Zapdos is paralyzed. Zapdos can't get paralyzed, it's poisoned. And so that's kind of why the Toxic Miss didn't matter that much earlier. I mean, it could have affected stuff, but it didn't. Volt Switch from a max special attack Zapdos did 44%. 43.9, but you know, you can't see that exactly. That's a max Spadef Togekiss, which you don't see very much, so that means that he's not going to be able to outspeed my Heracross, and he's not going to be able to take any sort of hit from Heracross, so that's good knowledge to have in the back. But I'm just going to go hard into my Entei, because I should be able to take any hit from this thing, because he does just Roost Off, because let's just Roost Off away the electric super effective move, because Togekiss is a bulky Pokemon. I go for the Sacred Fire here. I just wanted to burn the Slowbro so that I could guarantee to it KO it. Unfortunately, that's not going to be the case, and I don't want to Shadow Ball right away, so I'm just going to go into my Zapdos because it's a great pivot against his team, as he's just going to go back into his Togekiss. So I think we're just going to rinse repeat this process. No, he's going to go into his Rose right here, so as I go for the Volt Switch. So we're basically going to rinse repeat the process as I'm going to go back into my Entei. He doesn't have Rocks up, so he can't punish this. And I'm going to click Sacred Fire again because I want to get that burn. Had I just gone for the double Shadow Ball here, I would just 2-hit KO'd it, but that's whatever. I don't get the burn again, so hacks, but here I'm just like, fuck it, I'll just go for Shadow Ball. He did go into Togekiss the previous time to scout for the Power Herb Solar Beam, excuse me, which was a pretty good play, but I don't mess around with bad sets, I just mess around with great memes. So Shadow Ball does 54% here, 0.8, and Skull's going to do an absolute fuck ton to this thing, and it was kind of a 50-50 of whether he'd stay in or not, because he doesn't really have switch-ins, and I was very close to like clicking Iron Head or Sacred Fire, but I do end up just clicking Shadow Ball because I realized that Slowbro is something that I'd rather have dead to not dead, and I wanted to get the Entei kill on a Slowbro because that's the second time I've been able to do that, and it's fun. So this comes in, and this is a fucking stupid Pokemon, so he's just gonna kill me with a Psychic. He's Life Orb. I don't really have any, no, I don't have anything that switches in. So I'm gonna go into my Clef here because I don't want to force 50-50s with my Cobalion. I can't take a Sludge Bomb, and I'm just gonna click Ice Beam here because I'm a god, and I knew there was no way to stay in, and he was either going into this or his Togekiss. I could have gone for the Fire Blast, which would have done a little more, but it wouldn't have killed. If I was Psyshock, then that would have been fun because this would have been RIP, but hey, I build these teams too quick to think of that spicy of sets. So this takes a lot, and I'm just gonna go out into my Cobalion right here because the Sludge move is eminent, and he actually is going to go for the Synthesis here. So now what I'm gonna do is click Volt Switch, yeah, because since he showed Synthesis and he has Black Sludge and stuff, I think he could have Sleep Powder. So I'm gonna make another Dawn play and just go out into my Zapdos, block that, and he really doesn't have anything that wants to switch into Zapdos or anything that wants to be the recipient of a Volt Switch. So I'm just gonna Sludge Bomb or Heat Wave, knowing that as he Sludge Bombs, and once again another one of these 50-50s where he could switch out into the Togekiss, take the hit and stuff, but then I just get Heracross in and something dies, which is why I love Heracross, because it forces these kinds of things where like, oh, if I just let him Volt Switch for free, he brings in that thing and I lose a Mon, and normally people don't want to lose their Mons. So I'm gonna make the safe play once again, and it's gonna pay off once again as I Heat Wave and knock it out. So Zapdos is doing good, but now the thing is back, and I still don't have a switch to the thing. I could have gone into Cobalion right here, and that would have been a really nice play, and I probably could have just gone for an Iron Head, but I'm not that manly. But I'm just gonna go into my Clef. I take 89% from a Life Orb Sludge Bomb, which is a lot of damage, but I'm gonna be able to knock out the Darkrai guy. So it dies, and all he has left is a Sharpedo and a Togekiss, and those are two things that can't deal with Mega Heracross, because, you know, it's the best Mon in the history of everything ever. So unless he's HP flying, he's not killing me, or he gets like flinches, but Waterfall doesn't even do half because Mega Heracross is ridiculously bulky, and I kill him with one pin. One fucking pin kills him, and all I have to do is just land the rock thing. I knew he wasn't going to be faster than me, and I did speed creep it, and I'm going to be able to kill the Togekiss, and Heracross gets more kills. Yay! So nice, another 3-0 win for like the 4th time in a row. Did I 3-0 Omar? I can't even remember at this point. It's not worth remembering. But yeah, this thing, and at this point I believe we're 5-3 on a 5-game winning streak technically, even though we've earned 4 of those victories. So we got one more to show you today. Oh, I have one more to show you because this is not a group channel. I don't call people because I'm an introvert and stuff, and we'll get back to it in a sec. So we're back here again with the first guy that I fought in this league, Ranger W, who kind of tossed me on my neck because I sort of played like ass and didn't prepare for a Clefairy very well. But we're back again, and I built a team that was better suited to deal with stuff he could bring, I guess. But we're doing well, and he's kind of on a cold streak, so I'm just going to take advantage of that and, you know, plop him in the place where Trump voters like to plop things. Sorry for politicalness, but not really. Anyways, we have Subcalm Mind Mew because, you know, where's his counter to it? I don't see one. I'm faster than the Darmanitan because Darm just absolutely fucked me in the ass last time, and I didn't really want my bulky Mons being outsped by it if I had the power to outspeed it. So that's a thing. I have Guts, 4 attacks, Toxic Orb, Ursaring because, like, he gets absolutely demolished by it. This thing just runs over his team. He doesn't have a normal resist, and even his bulky things that can take it, like Swampert, just get OHKO'd by Seed Bombs. That's fun. Then I Mega Heracross because oh my god, he has no Mega Hera switch-ins, and he didn't bring the Clefairy this time, so he has extra no Mega Hera switch-ins, which is amazing. Then I have a Fizdef Lantern with Shukaberry this time, so that I can actually take a hit from the thing, the Darm, because, you know, Darm fucked me in the ass last time, and when something does that to you, you wear protection for it the next time. So that's what we're doing. Then I've got Rocky Helmet Zapdos with a lot of speed because, once again, I don't want that Darmanitan just getting off a shit ton of damage on me before I can hit it. So I can outspeed it and like Volt Switch on it and stuff. And Rocky Helmet's there because, you know, Mega Lopunny is something that deserves to be punished. And I'm actually bringing Clef because, you know, it like is a check to Lop and it's a pretty nice check to the Latias as well. And I'm actually bringing the set that he brought on Clefairy, which was Stealth Rock, T-Wave, Soft Boiled Moonblast, because it does pretty well against his team and it supports my team pretty well. So let's just go ahead and get into this one. For this game, I wanted to lead off with something that would deal with things that would deal with a Mega Hera lead, because if he leads wrong against Hera, then he just loses a Mon outright. So I felt like he was probably going to lead with Darm or Latias, and I can react well to both of those with Lantern. So he is actually going to lead with Lopunny, which I question because if I led with Hera, then he lost a Mon to Hera. Whatever. I'm going to click Scald because in the case that he was Substitute like he brought last time, which he brought this time too. I'm going to crit with the Scald, but I don't think it mattered. I don't know. He's going to go for the Cosmic Powers. I'm now going to Volt Switch because I thought he'd like, you know, go into Latias, but he's this set, which is cool because Heracross doesn't care about it and I can just close combat. I guess it was a 50-50. Had I gone for the Pin Missile, I would have just one-shotted this Latias, but I really don't care because I have switched into Latias and only bad players get doinked by Cosmic Power Mons. And so yeah, like Pin Missile would have just knocked this out. Its spread is max HP and probably really fast for stuff, and then like the damage calc said it had a fair bit of defense along with max HP, so something like that. So I ran some calcs and was like, hey, even if he's non-offensive, a Psychic could just knock me out, and Psychic makes sense against my team, I guess. So I'm just going to go into Clef because I can paralyze it, and it's unlikely that it'll have Mono Psychic, but if he does, hey, then Mew beats it because I have Psyshock, and he does reveal Psychic, so that's cool. I'm just going to get my rocks up here because he can't do it KO me, as he is going to drop the Calm Mind on me, which I don't care. I got my rocks up, and because he's Calm Mind, he's probably not defogged, which means I can punish the Darm, and this Latias is not beating me. And why is he not beating me? I got T-Wave. Yeah, boy. So even if he does... So because he's T-Wave, that means Heracross can just come in and kill it. I'm just going to click Moonblast, do a nice 19%, and he's going to do 60 with the Psychic move. But like, if he's not refreshed, which he shows to not be, Heracross just comes in and knocks it out. It knocks it out from 100% with +1 defense because, you know, Heracross is a very good Pokemon that people don't prep for, which I love. So I'm just going to go into Hera and get that free kill with Pin Missile because Hera doesn't miss moves. And Latias dies, and that was a big threat. And even if he was refreshed, Calm Mind Mew just beat it because Psychic does not beat Calm Mind Mons. He's going to go into Darm, and I'm just going to go into my Lantern. I'm not really afraid of it. He's going to make the nice read and EQ me right here, which was... I mean, I could have gone into Zapdos predicting him to predict that, but in the case that he just went for Flare Blitz, my Zapdos would have taken an absolute buttload, and I do actually kind of want my Zapdos to make a round so that I don't get plopped by the Plopunny. So he goes for the EQ, pops my Shuck Berry, he can kill me with another one. However, his play here is either go for the EQ or go for the U-turn in my mind, and Zapdos punishes both of those, so I'm just going to go into it. And he is going to end up going for the Earthquake, so that's nice for me. And I'm just going to go right ahead and click Volt Switch right here, get some damage off on it. He's going to stay in, so I'm just going to go back out into Lantern and sack it off. I got the damage I needed so that I can revenge kill it with Mew. He's going to go for the Rock Slide, it does a lot, and he can just knock me out with a subsequent hit. He does go for the Flare Blitz in case I tried to resist EQ again, which was fair, I guess. But I'm going to go into Mew, and I considered running like max Fizz Def on this, but I'm glad that I ran a fast set so that I could outrun and kill that Darm. And Mew actually just like destroys his team at this point. He's going to go and show that he's a Scarf Mesprit, and it does 22%. And I'm just going to lay up the good old substitute maneuver, and his team just kind of loses to this Mon. It just does. I'm going to go for the Roost right here. Calm Mind was my best play to guarantee that Scald does not break my sub, as it does break my sub, and I was like, oh shit, I'm going to have to Calm Mind and risk the burn. But then I ran some calcs and I was like, hey, it's a pretty good roll in my favor that it doesn't break my sub, so I'm just going to keep subbing until, you know, like he doesn't break it, unless he got super lucky or he was offensive. But Neither of those things are the case, so I'm gonna get my sub up, and now I can just click Calm Mind, and after this Calm Mind, he's going to be able to bust my sub down. But after this point, I will always be able to sub up against this Vaporeon forever, and the reason I went for Roost way back when was to scout if he was Roar, but it looks like he's not Roar, so that's cool. I'm gonna sub here, and I'm gonna make a little bit of a bad play and sub again, thinking that he might go for the Shadow Ball to knock out my sub or something like that. I don't know, man. It was the wrong play. Just going for Psyshock or going for the Calm Mind was the better one, but now I'm going to go for the Psyshock as he's just going to go for the Drain Punch. So had I substituted here, I'm saying sub a lot, then I don't think he would have been able to break my sub, and then I would have been behind the doll thing and I would have been in a good spot. He's going to go into Swampert, and I just click Psyshock because, yeah, he's going to go for a Life Orb Earthquake. So really interesting set. I didn't really know how I wanted to play around the Swampert at this point. I just saw at this point that Heracross just got to kill every single time. I considered going into Ursaring or something like that, but I'm glad I didn't because I just 2-hit KO this thing and stuff. But it was kind of a weird play, but I didn't really lose a lot from just clicking Psyshock because if he was defensive set, EQ still busted my substitute every single time. But at this point, Mew plus Heracross just kind of wins. I'm going to make a fun play here and basically get Heracross a kill because there's no way he goes for the Psychic, and he already showed these Choice Scarf, and basically the moves that Mesprit was going to go for was like U-turn, which would have been the bad play, Shadow Ball, which was the play he did go for, or Signal Beam if he did have that coverage, or it would have been Trick. So I was really hoping to be Trick so that I could cock block his Psychic Mon with my Fighting Mon because that's always fun, but I have Heracross in here. He gets a Spadaf drop, but you know, it doesn't matter because he can't kill me with another one, and I just get to claim a life with Pin Missile, and he chooses to fodder off his Fish Dog. So that's dead, and it's 4-1 right now, and he's going to go in this thing. Because he's Choice Scarfed, he has to lock himself into a move that can hit all four of my Mons. So basically, he can't click Shadow Ball because Ursaring's immune. He's going to go for the Psychic. I go for Zapdos because I know I should be able to take 2 hits from this thing, and I'm going to be able to do that. Click Volt Switch. I get a crit, which isn't going to kill it, so that's actually good, so I can get another kill to Mew right here. So I'm just going to be able to come in Mew and click Psyshock and knock this out. So we are going to take a 4-0 victory now. So that's cool, and we're finally caught up with all these games. I'm now 6-3 with a +9 differential. I could potentially be at the top of my division or conference or whatever the hell they call it in this weird league after this week, depending on what the guy in front of me does, but this is pretty fun. I get nice revenge. Mew and Heracross combined to get all 6 kills in this game, which makes me happy, and they're actually number 5 and 3 on the MVP race, which is also really cool because they're good Mons and I'm having fun with them. So yeah, that's all fun. We're finally doing well in this league. I say finally because I dropped one game and then I've won 5 in a row, so that's cool. I hope you guys enjoyed all this. If you did, drop a like and leave some love in the comment section, or tell me why I'm a flaming idiot and you want to see me die or something. I don't know. Don't say that, that's mean, and I'm very self-conscious. Bye.